Hi there, Discerning Shootist here. We're early in 2019, and even though the snow apocalypse is taking a break, it's still fairly cold out. We got to the range today. The project gun we're working on is Kel-Tec P11. Now, you may recall a little over a year ago, I did a pillow test, and it started the whole quest for a second gun, a pocket gun that works a little more effectively than the 32 auto that I've been carrying, or even 380 with jacketed hollow points, and you can go back and look on all that and see where I was at. And that led me to look at other things. You know, I'm a big J-frame fan, 5-shot revolver, and then I came across a fairly inexpensive 9mm gun, and it's actually about the same size, and we made that comparison in the past, except it holds twice as many rounds. So it got to me thinking, this is fairly inexpensive, I bought it used at an auction. What about other guns of similar size, regardless of the price point, that would be good for an ankle gun or a secondary gun or however I carry it, as a replacement that hold 10 rounds? And so I went, and I'm going to start a comparison. I'm going to compare pistols of similar size to this, which again, similar size to the J-frame, that hold 10 rounds or more of 9mm, and I really don't care about the cost, because I just kind of want to see buyer beware, or you get what you pay for. Now, this one was fairly inexpensive, and you know all about this. It's double action only. Trigger pull is about, I don't know, probably about 7 pounds. It's very similar to my revolver. It's kind of gritty. It's not as smooth as the revolver I have. It's got plastic sights. We've talked about that in the past. It uses a 10-round magazine, similar in pattern to Smith & Wesson Model 59. So, if you recall, the first 50 rounds I fired through it, I had talked about how it really shoots really low. Well, I let my fingers do the walking on the World Wide Web, and I find out at the Kel-Tec website, I could buy a set of replacement sights of 3 different heights for the front for like $7. And I'm like, okay, so we're going to do that. But I wanted to do that after the comparison. And you can also buy a guide rod that's metal. This one's polymer. It's also $7, so I don't know how much better it is going to be than the polymer one. But for the 20 bucks it's going to cost me to have it shipped, we're going to give it a try. Now, having said that, we're going to come up to the first gun we're going to compare to this. It's in here. I borrowed this gun from a friend, and it's the Sccy 2. This one also uses Smith & Wesson Model 59 magazines. I know, because I tried them in the Kel-Tec P11. They're the same. So, this one came with a couple. Fits very good. You see this is pink. And it is a little bit bigger. I don't know if you can see that size difference there. But it is a little bit bigger. Not a lot. But a little bit. You can see it's like you got these little air pockets back here, and you got the finger grooves here. And the idea of it is help to absorb recoil. And I don't know if it's little air pockets in the back or the finger grooves in the front, but there was a noticeably less muzzle flip, which that was okay. Holds the same number of rounds. The sights on it are 3-dot like on the Kel-Tec. These, however, are metal, whereas the ones on the Kel-Tec are plastic. So, I'm a big fan of that. They're drift adjustable in the back, staked in the front. But, here, I'll go back to that. If you notice something across the top, they're pretty much the same. So, yeah, Sccy essentially did to Kel-Tec what Ruger did to Kel-Tec, and they copied their gun, at least the slide, the operating, and things like that. This is double action only. Now, having said that, a couple of things. Aside from the sights being metal and the dots are much, much bigger, guess what else is metal? Not too shabby. Same number of rounds, double action, metal trigger, I believe. No, that's plastic too. Now, said that, slide release is a lot more pronounced on the Sccy as well. Does have less muzzle flip. And again, I don't know if it's because of the crazy little air pockets in the back or the finger grooves, but it is a little bit more controllable of a gun. The sights in the back are certainly a lot more visible. It was getting towards sunset when we shot. So, but I'm gonna, to be fair, we'll replace these with some ones that will make it a lot more accurate and shoot at more point of aim. Shotgun, this gun shot very close to point of aim. Trigger's better. The trigger pull's lighter, it's smoother, it's not as gritty. Now granted, this is a used gun. The Kel-Tec is a used, very used gun is going to be my guess. This one not so much. So it's probably, it might be an apples to oranges argument. But the trigger's a lot smoother, it is lighter. And quite honestly, this gun, the Sccy, groups quite a bit better than this. So again, you know, a couple of things, all things being equal. All right. I would guess that this being a little better used is probably works a little better than if it was brand new. I've shot a few of these in the past before, so this one doesn't really seem to be all that out of line with what a new in the box one shoots like. This is my first effort with the Sccy. And so I was actually really surprised. Unfortunately, I don't like all this stuff. I mean, it might make it more controllable for me, but I've never been a finger groove guy. It is a little bit thicker front to back, which will offer a little bit more controllability. So it's kind of going to be, you know, user preference there. I did shoot some wide mouth hollow points out of them. Use the same rounds for both guns. I didn't do an exhaustive, reliable testing, but it worked. They went bang every time, fed every time, worked the slide, switched out magazines, the whole 9 yards. It worked great. So if I was looking for a gun, I said, this is certainly a nice candidate. I mean, I'm going to have to replace the sights, but these are metal sights. I'd certainly darken ones back to see where one's missing already, which doesn't matter to me because I darken it out anyway. But they were pretty visible, much more so than my Kel-Tec. And I guess that's pretty much all. Oh, one other thing is that usually you can tell how good a gun is by how many of them you see in a used gun market. People bringing them into the gun shop, or you know, you see them online, or those kind of things. It hasn't been out as long, but I don't know that I've ever seen but maybe one of these used for sale. And all the ones I've ever seen in auction were for gun shops that went bankrupt. See a ton of these. Not so much used in gun shops, but you see a ton of these on auction sites, people trying to get rid of them, things like that. Now, again, it's been around a lot longer. This is a copy of that, but I think it's just done better. You know, like the Ruger LCP versus the Kel-Tec P380. It's the fit and finish. I think it's just a little better. I think it performs a little better. They took the idea, and I'm guessing that they took the idea and made it a little bit better. Now, here's the kicker. Now, getting this gun for the price I paid for this at an auction was an anomaly. Because I've been following, because I've been wanting to get one, because the Smith & Wesson Model 59 magazine uses are also similar to what they use in their first generation sub 2000 rifle. So I wanted to get a handgun and a folding carbine for a backpack. And I might have to go a different route, and I'll talk about that more later in the year. So I pursued that, and I liked that. Usually, used are right around $200, and new they could be over $300. This bad boy, new, it's about $200, $250 out the door, I think is a guess. So modern iteration of this gun, I think it's done a little bit better, and new it's a little bit cheaper. You know, for metal sights and what have you, they're both made in the United States. Not a fan of the grip, and I don't care about the color. You can get in multiple different colors. But if you're looking for a 10-round 9mm that fits the bill, these are definitely worth a look at, specifically this one, especially for the kind of money. It's not a match grade gun, but it works. It's fairly attractive, especially like the stainless steel, you know, and the barrel. I think stainless steel looks like, or maybe it's just stainless steel where the Kel-Tec is just in the white. So look at that. Next time, I got a couple more guns to look at, start going up in price. So this is the Sccy Model 2, the CPX-2, excuse me, 9mm. The Kel-Tec P11. This is the Discerning Shootist. Got lots more stuff coming on here in 2019. So be good, be safe. Can't be safe, be good and dangerous.